There's one document in India that tells you almost everything you need to know about a piece of land before you buy it. It is called the Satbara Extract or Satbara Uttara in Marathi. Most buyers have never seen one. Most buyers who have seen one have no idea what they're looking at. Today I'm going to change that. Because if you're buying land anywhere in Maharashtra or frankly anywhere in rural India, understanding this document is not optional. It's the difference between a clean investment and a legal nightmare that takes decades to resolve. What is a Satbara and where does it come from? Well, the Satbara Extract is a land record maintained by the Revenue Department of Maharashtra, specifically by the Talati, who is the village level revenue official. It gets its name from two registers, Register 7 and Register 12, that were historically maintained separately and later combined into a single document. Think of it as the birth certificate and health record of a piece of land combined. It tells you who owns the land, how much land there is, what it's used for, whether there's any debt or encumbrance on it, and what rights different people have over it. Every survey number in Maharashtra has a corresponding Satbara. When you're evaluating any piece of land, the Satbara for that survey number is the first document you'll pull. Everything else follows from what you find here. You can pull a Satbara online today from mahabhulek.maharashtra.gov.in. There's no excuse for buying land in Maharashtra without reading the Satbara Extract. The Satbara has several sections. Let me walk you through each one. The top of the document shows the survey number or gut number in older records and the total area of the parcel in hectares and REs. This tells you the exact land you are dealing with. If the seller says he has 5 acres and the Satbara shows 4.2 acres, you have a problem immediately. Cross-check this against the property card and the cadastral map. The numbers should match. If they don't, then stop and find out why before proceeding. The next is the Khata number. It is the account number assigned to the landowner in the revenue records. One landowner can have multiple survey numbers under the same Khata, meaning all their land is consolidated in one account. This is useful when you're trying to understand how much land a seller actually owns and whether the piece being sold is encumbered by anything on an adjacent survey number. Owner name on part 1 of the document. This is the most important field for most buyers. Who does the government say owns this land? The name here is a legal owner as per revenue records. This must match the person selling you the land. If the name on the Satbara is different from the person you're dealing with, whether it's a relative, a power of attorney holder, a third party, you need to understand exactly why before you proceed. Look for multiple names. Land owned jointly by multiple family members is extremely common in rural Maharashtra. If there are 4 names on the Satbara, you need written consent from all 4 before any legal transaction is valid. Missing one creates a legal dispute that can surface years later. Occupation type and cultivation. This section tells you what the land is actually being used for. Dry crop, irrigated crop, orchard, fallow, bungalow, plot or another. This has implications for what you can do with the land and what permissions you might need. Fallow land with no cultivation history is easier to convert for non-agricultural use in some cases. Land with active crops has sitting cultivation rights in some circumstances. Water source. This field tells you the water source for the land. Borewell, canal, rain-fed, river or none. Extremely important. Land that says rain-fed or no water source means you are entirely dependent on rainfall and whatever borewell you can sink. This has massive implications for the buildability and the value for the land. We'll do a full episode on water later, but flag this on the Satbara immediately. The liability section, which is part 2 of the document. This is where most buyers miss something critical. The liabilities or encumbrances section shows any loans, charges or rights that sit against the land. If a farmer has taken a crop loan from a bank against this land, it will appear here. If there's a court order or attachment, it appears here. If there's a government acquisition notice, it appears here. This section should ideally be blank. If it isn't blank, you need to understand exactly what the liability is, whether it can be cleared before the transaction, and who is responsible for clearing it. Buying land with an undisclosed loan attached to it means you could be buying someone else's debt. The remarks column. The remarks column is where the talati notes anything that doesn't fit the standard fields. This is where you find things like partition disputes, mutation pending, transaction against Fragmentation Act, forest reservation, court case pending, and any other red flags that should concern you. Read the remarks column carefully. If there's anything there that you don't understand, ask a lawyer who specializes in land before proceeding. The mutation entry. How ownership changes are recorded. When land changes hands through sale, inheritance, gift, or court order, the new owner's name needs to be entered into the revenue records. This process is called mutation or hak dakhla in Marathi. Until mutation is completed, the Satbara still shows the old owner's name. A Satbara with the correct owner name after a recent sale gives you much more comfort than one where mutation is pending. Pending mutations can take months and sometimes years if there are objections. So if you're buying from someone whose name appears on the Satbara as a result of inheritance, meaning the original owner died and the land passed on to the heirs. Check whether the succession was properly recorded through a legal heirship certificate or a will, and whether all heirs have consented to the sale. What the Satbara doesn't tell you. This is important. It doesn't tell you the full title history going back decades. For that, you need the sale deed chain and the search report from the sub-registrar's office. It doesn't tell you if there are any disputes between family members that haven't yet reached the revenue department. Many family disputes about inheritance exist for years without appearing on any official record. It doesn't tell you about forest classification or eco-sensitive zone status, which requires separate verification with the forest department. It doesn't tell you about private encumbrances, personal guarantees, informal loans, family arrangements that were never registered anywhere. Every piece of land in Maharashtra has a Satbara, every single one. Before you pay a rupee, before you shake hands on any price, before you even tell the seller you're interested, pull the Satbara. Go to mahabhulek.maharashtra.gov.in, enter the district, taluka and village, pull the document. Read every field. Anything that doesn't make sense to you, ask a lawyer before you proceed. The Satbara is free. Legal disputes are not. That's episode 3. The next episode, we're going to talk about the single most confusing distinction in Indian land law: agricultural versus non-agricultural land, and why getting this wrong is the most expensive mistake a buyer can make. So keep watching and see you next week.